in terms of threats. But guys, we're ready for game number 3.
Boskia, 하나, 둘, 셋. Boskia, fighting.
KT roster, 하나, 둘, 셋.
KT roster, fighting.
Yeah. All right. Love the fan chants. Always great to have so many people supporting our league, even through these hard times.
Don't tell me you've lost it, Valdez.
Well, you don't see them? No, we're feeling pretty good about this game number 3 at least. I think this should be a fun one. I hope it's not as one-sided as game 2.
I agree. A repeat of game num would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it. I know it wasn't necessarily the highest quality of gameplay, but
we had 2 different kinds of roller coasters. The first one was very long, but it was like very back and forth, up and down, you know. Not too many loops, but kind of just fast and furious, but went for a long time. And then we had, of course, whatever game 2 was, some kind of giant drop, maybe a slingshot, right?
A disaster.
They get like shot off after being put all the way up into the sky, or they like, it's one of those drop machines, right? Like get all the way in the sky and then you like drop down, but then it's kind of over because you just win the game, I guess. Maybe it's more of a slingshot. Either way. Many different kinds of KT roller coasters.
I'm no roller coaster expert. Neither the KT variety, although I don't know if there's many people that claim to truly know KT. I think they've been very true to both the organization as well as the core of Pioshik, Deft, and Barrel. Now they've played out, as we do see the pretty substantial early threat of Lulu and Zeri being double ranged into Leona, who just doesn't do that much level 1, unfortunately. It's just kind of there.
Remember when we thought that support Amumu was the answer into old, busted Zeri?
Hey!
Good times.
I wouldn't hate if it makes a comeback. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, it might be fun.
Think about, okay, but hear me out. Think about Senna Amumu.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if Nautilus and Tom Kench and Ornn and Leona and Maokai, Rel, Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, Heimerdinger, Hui, Seraphine, forgot that one. If they all get bans, I'm with you on that one, Chronicler.
Cooking a little bit too much.
Well, this is the series to do so, I guess.
I also didn't remember to check if Barrel picked his own skin or not. He has not picked his own skin.
Nope.
Didn't choose to do so. Pioshik going to think twice about trying to go and get us. We actually told by G-Sun that he specifically uses only the Iron Solari skin because of how smooth the animations are.
Interesting. That is a thing.
Makes sense. That's why a lot of people pick skins.
Yeah. It's true.
Kagan is a big fan of just the flexing. Although he didn't go for his own skin in this one.
Sometimes he does. He did in game 1.
He did, yeah, it was the Prestige Edition.
How about game 2 of Atrox? Did he go it there?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. There wasn't a whole lot of gameplay in that one.
Yeah, not a lot of time for Kingen to do things. It was oftentimes just dying to Barrel. He was on screen a lot, right?
He didn't even play that. Yeah, I feel like he played the best out of his team.
Yeah.
Just didn't really... It wasn't good and also didn't mean anything, but he got that award. You know, it's when you lose a game and you go to OPGG and it's like... ace! And you're like, yeah! And you're like, 0, 2, and 5. It's
yeah.
Like, well, I guess I got that. Which, it's something.
Counts for something. Also, minus 20 up.
Yeah, that's really what gets you.
Yeah, that's normally the number I look at. That's just the way
minus
solo queue
20.
works.
That's not too bad.
Actually, recently I'm like on minus 18.
-8. Oh, the man is climbing.
Yeah, on a bit of a climb, on a bit of a tear recently.
18? Oh, well, plus 28?
You know the secret? Play Zach. That's the secret.
That's the secret.
That's it. That's the end of the secret.
He is getting,
it's a very short one.
Getting nerfed on next patch, but it's only top lane Zach.
Yeah.
They're not nerfing. They're trying to keep him equal, so it wouldn't surprise me if jungle Zach ends up being even better as possible dive here towards the bot side of the map.
Imagine that. Wait, they're diving the bottom lane?
Who could have...
As the blue team?
Shock. Oh, but they got grubs, though. That's good, right?
They did get the grubs. Beryl has elected to stick around. BDD maybe thinking about TPing in here. He's going to get here after his support dies. And I don't think that even saves Deft, because they were already disengaging. Maybe they were disengaging because they knew the teleport was coming in. And either way, it's a big win for D plus Kia early on in game 1. 3.
Now you're sounding like you're talking about Phoenix Wright case, where it's like game 1, case free.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I just looked at the top of the screen and it was like 1-0.
Although I guess this would be case 2 free, because it's the second series between the two. As we're taking a look, I don't know. Beryl probably thought that he wasn't going to get away, but I feel like that's not actually true. Really good polymorph there from Callan to not allow him to do anything, so he doesn't get to Eclipse, he doesn't get to proc his Aftershock, which means that he just takes full damage throughout all of it. And then by the time that he gets out of it, he's already dead.
Yeah. And keep in mind, you know, going back to the drafts, we saw that Kaisa Leona was picked before the support was picked on the side of DK. So the Lulu selection here from the side of D+ feels very nice because you win the lane, the Zeri gets a free lane. That's not always the case. And you have Kaisa, who alone is not very strong in the lane herself, plus a melee support that's honestly not very meta nowadays for a good reason. And so Aiming and Callan just kind of freely... very far ahead in terms of CS. They're winning all of these trades, plus they're getting dives, because they're on the blue side and they have a jungle that can easily dive the bottom lane. And it's just feeling very free early on here for D+ on the bottom side.
Been able to build up some pretty substantial leads as a result as well. The only win for KT is the triple grubs.
Oh boy.
As Rel has found... Oh, Kingen might be in some trouble, though.
Oh, yeah, he's getting flashed on. Ooh, he flashes away, but there is a tree running at him anyway.
He might be fine, though. This is Mini.
Maybe he is. Yeah, the Flash Magnet Storm, and that's just the end of Perfect, as down he will go. And Pyosik is not in a better spot. He does have Flash himself. Will he elect to use it is the question. Q comes in, and he just says, nah, man, I'm dead. This is over. In this top trade, it's 2 more kills to the side of D+.
Starting to see why the Rel was banned away 2 games in a row from KT. Lucid's his experience on Sejuani was one that I think many Lucid fans would rather forget. But here, really crisp timing. Arrives in time. Kingen also doing a wonderful job. It feels so funny to see him actually alcove gaming. Because it was what made the difference. Because there was no vision, and because Perfect had neither a ward, I think, nor an ability to hop over the wall.
Yeah.
He could just stall, and then the moment that Lucid shows up, obviously they have to CC. This is a mini-Gnar. As we take another look here.
Yeah. So he dashes. Flash
over the
follow.
야, 나 이거 천천히 봐줘. 할만해.
We can win about 8 times.
Yes, cooldowns are back up. Lucid doesn't waste any time, and with Aatrox in particular,
안 죽어.
I
the moment you
won't
get
die.
that kill,
He says, I won't die.
천천히.
Slowly.
나이스.
Nicer. The giant Nicer scream in the background.
I'm pretty sure that was Showmaker.
I feel like we heard it through his mic from Showmaker, who was sitting 2 seats away from him.
It has to be. I don't know who else is that loud.
What it sounded like. Okay, well, this is the combo, guys. This is the Kaisa Leona. They get on in. That's a very nice solar flare. And now with Pyosik here, maybe they make something of it. But Beryl is actually the one that is low as he nearly goes down. And the bouncing autos from Aiming.
BDD.
Up he flashes forward. He's looking for the kills. And he's going to get the one as here comes BDD. As you mentioned, flash forward, immediate stun from the side of Lucid. And yes, Aiming goes down, but he saves his teammates. And he picks up a kill.
Aiming wants blood. Flashes forward, gets himself the kill I think they could have also just made it out, but wants to go for the 1v1 instead, as Perfect says. Thank you for the leash. Payback king.
You gotta emote him in that case. That's like the
really
perfect emote spot.
Oh. Barrel trying to go for a repeat of game number 2.
This time, they didn't get 2 kills in the bottom lane.
Does feel a lot better.
He
doesn't
is
have flash.
But the Wallop's gonna miss.
Yep. We did that one, and that's the moment Barrel shows up. Should at the very least be a dragon. As we take another look here, the level 6 all-in of Zeri really is something that needs to be feared. Deft, crucially, actually ends up being in range of the knock-up, which doesn't allow him to do a whole lot of damage. And then here, they're chasing because PDD is arriving on the other end. And then I think because of the knowledge of that, like, oh, I'm dead anyway, might as well try and trade for a kill. PDD doesn't actually get to go on top of Kellen, so Lucid stands guard. And Showmaker also realizing that nothing was going to happen, just picked up a plate, picked up a wave lead, and that is, didn't go for Dragon with Barrel showing up, but instead just said, it's free real estate. It's a free turret, Valdez.
It's a free turret, and the biggest gold gap on the Rift right now is the support role. Kellen's feeling pretty good about his situation in this game. Obviously, aiming is very close.
Kellen on Enchanters, man.
Who could have seen it coming? And you know, we were talking about the Renata Glask as well. That's actually a big Kellen pick. Would have been cool to see it. But the Lulu definitely doing just as good a job, if not better. The polymorphs have been really slick, the wild growths on time, and just winning lane. I mean, just
Lulu,
remember that you're able to do this.
Lulu is so win more as well. Like when you're winning with Lulu, because basically it's going to force your opponents to make desperate plays where you can either keep your carries alive when they overextend or polymorph people and not be too bothered one way or another. As that's Mega, Gnar, so Lucid is going to say hello, and then a Perfect Redder is going to leave. Should be able to set up some grubs here. Not really that important, but obviously denying 6 grubs I think does have some value. As Barrel again trying the match. Yeah, so they won't dive perfect, but they will still at the very worst get a plate. And I imagine the grubs, Piershik's making his way over as well, but
yeah, still hanging around the top lane. Lucid just going to start these grubs. And yeah, just a bit of a swap. We'll send their bot lane top after taking the bot turret. Meanwhile, Deft is running to mid. And might just stop here for a moment and then go top, because right now it's Perfect and Barrel laning together. Kind of an interesting duo there.
And we do see the grubs getting taken. I forgot if it was Dispatch or 14-4 where the Rel Q interaction got removed, because she was a little bit way too good.
Next patch.
Yeah, I think it was live patch. A little bit way too good at killing all the Krugs very, very quickly.
Grubs.
Oh, yeah.
Bubs.
Well, I mean,
Bobs.
you kill Krugs quickly as well. It just doesn't really relate to the change. Bobs, Kevins, Mites. Or is the Mites only the tiny ones that they summon?
Yes. They can both be Mites. Some Mites are bigger than others.
Or they're like full grown versus...
Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
I'm not an expert myself.
Herald fight? Could be an angle, but the STP available. KT want to get into the back line. They're pretty far behind already, and Deft only has a Shiv. Wonder if they actually want to try and contest for this. As that's a lot of plate gold, Valdez.
Yeah, the bottom lane for KT doesn't really exist right now. They have fallen very far behind. The Zeri is huge at 153 CS and counting, the most in the game. And Deft is just kind of catching waves, so you don't really have any opportunity to fight for objectives at this point. You just gotta try to hope you scale with your Tristana and Kai'Sa, but it's not like they're up against a like a comp that doesn't scale on the side of D+.
No, they scale pretty exceptionally. Aatrox once upon a time I think was more of a mid-game pick, but we have kind of abandoned that school of thought. He's just an everything pick now.
We've gone full profane.
we have gone full profanity. Showmaker has built his one item that does direct damage and will now only do items that allow him to use that one item more. Don't know how many grass procs he's sitting on. Did obviously have a somewhat of a tough time in the early lane phase, but has bounced back ever since BDD went for the play towards bot side, which didn't work out. And then there's Zeri, which Zeri by herself, we've seen struggle every now and then at actually doing enough damage. But he has Lulu as well. Kellen went for Mikhail's first as well.
I feel like
your one win condition is finding one target and blowing them up, so Aatrox doesn't work, as we know. Lucid is Rel, Showmaker is Tankazir, and then you have Zeri with Flash Cleanse, a Lulu heal, a Wild Growth,
2 cleanses,
and Mikhail.
Yeah. Which also heals.
Yeah.
And Slay. No, I mean, it's pretty oppressive for sure, especially from ahead. And it was designed to get ahead, especially in the bottom lane, so I'm not sure what else we would have expected, to be quite honest.
And we've had a lot of fun with it, with this series, particularly game number 1. But this is a really important match because this might end up being what decides a 4th versus 5th spot. Because, frankly, I don't think either of these teams are looking likely to
but if you get
beat
4th,
any of the teams above
face off against the 5th place team.
So
right?
actually,
and 3rd place
against
6th.
So it actually doesn't.
It gives you side selection, potentially. Also, if you want to go on a big run and somehow challenge Homolife Esports for 3rd.
They're going to go on a run?
It's, cardiovascular health. It's very important. No, I mean, if they start to win a bunch and actually challenge Homolife Esports, let's say they have, kind of a rough end of the split, it's still possible. Mathematically, it's not too out of the question.
Hey, don't get me wrong. Either of these teams has enough talent to make it happen. Just about picking at the right time.
Yeah, it feels like the consistency for these 2 teams compared to our top 3 teams, even our 3rd team, right? It feels like there's top 2, T1 Genji, then there's Homolife Esports quickly behind them, and then there's a decent gap.
You say consistency, and I ask what consistency, which is your point.
Yeah.
Because there's none.
There's none.
That's
the issue.
Both in drafts as well as in gameplay, which is what kind of baffles me. Usually, teams have got a solid grasp on one or the other. Let's see what it's Chemtech, isn't it? Are you kidding me?
Hell yes! I love Chemtech so.
Ox!
Big fan. Ox is off today, Sush. He's got some extra time to troll us. Not surprising, to be honest. And
okay, you have Lulu though. It's kind of
all right. Where are we going? Just gonna send a bot lane. Just force a response eventually. Have seen this from time to time, especially because there's no other outer turret. There's really no point in trying to go on a little cuz drive that we've seen from time to time. So just gonna send a bot. And perfect.
Oh no,
Get it?
we're gonna watch Perfect take her down. Oh, not even. Wait, you want the last hit though? There you go.
You got it. 25 GE.
Boom.
Didn't deny that many minions, but that's fine. Was about to go down anyway, as we almost have Frozen Heart complete for Showmaker, who is playing into 2.5 80 carries in this game that we do love their attack speed.
Yeah, we didn't really discuss that yet. I do hope Deft goes for a hybrid build and goes Nashers next. Because they do, it's still going to be somewhat mitigated. I would have loved the new AP build that has come up where, I don't remember the exact order, but you go Muramana as well. And then you just try to play for the big Ws the way that we have often seen with the AP Kai'Sa. But at the very least, hybrid is basically a necessity here, which right now is looking good, right? You don't go for Shiv and Ginsus to then pivot away to a Kraken. So that'll be something, but he's still going to be relying on autoing into double Frozen Heart, which they don't stack, but you will always be frozen. Good cancel.
Yesterday we did have some kind of lopsided drafts, but we had a couple of our lower teams, and then we also had T1 versus Bro, which is a bit of a one-sided match, and we're not expecting Bro to have the most genius drafts of all time, right? I didn't really expect to see that many big draft wins today, but this Game 3, this Game 3 is turning into one fast. Game 2 also a bit,
To be fair,
with the
though,
smolder.
so the bot side, I think, was always going to be pretty cursed when it comes to the laning phase. But the top half of the map was just DK outplaying them. And the moment that your top lane loses any form of pressure, like say that they win the 2v2 in top and you actually have a Gnar continuously pushing, that forces responses, means that they can't play that heavily towards bot side. So the moment that KT lost that top side 2v2, it actually took away any form of agency that they had.
But then why go for Tristana when you're already lacking magic damage and you're playing into double Frozen Heart because you know it's going to be Tank Azir? Like, just pick a control mage or pick,
Yeah.
you know, a Yone or something.
Yeah, no,
you know?
I was really only talking about the Gnar. Because in
Oh.
theory, I mean, I said topside, right?
Yeah.
So that's on me. But in theory, I think that Tristana, by itself, not the end of the world, although again, I would have much rather seen Deft go for a full AP build here if you do go for the Tristana. But I also don't think BDD really had the early presence that you'd like. I imagine he did go Resolve second, so I imagine he went Demolish as well. Didn't really get to find a whole lot of value off of that. As the mid lane turret is still standing, and particularly with Tristana, I feel like so much of the champion's power, which is why we've still seen her banned every now and again against Jovi, is that you need to really pick your timings, and if you do roam from your lane, it needs to be actually worth it, because your main goal is just building a lead by default by shoving and getting early turret plates, and that didn't really happen in this one. And now, yeah, your game state's kind of rough, Valdas. It's not a good time to be playing into a lot of bladed steel caps, a lot of Merc treads, McKills, and all the other things that we already mentioned, and no real targets to go on. You have a dive comp position, which it's a great dive comp. You know, you ult the back line,
Yeah.
BDD and Deft go in.
Just don't look at the other side of the rift.
That's the problem. Yeah, Pioshik locks everyone. Like, you engage on Tank Azir and he ults you, and then he doesn't
You're going to do, like, negative damage. I mean, we do have LDR second here for BDD.
Which is good. That's something.
It's a good call.
They can also, because the pace of Drakes has been so slow this game, we also are probably going to get to, like, what, 40 minutes of gameplay? I don't think this one is anywhere near done. So we take a look at the vision controller, because they haven't really lost control of the map just yet. Their ring of inners is still standing.
D+ have definitely been taking their sweet time with this one, which I think is okay. I mean, you have Azeri, you have triple threat with Aatrox and Azir. But if it does go to, like, Supreme late game once again, certainly double AD carry is still going to be very scary, regardless of what items you build. So definitely something to think about as we do move along in this game. We've kind of just been waffling about, yapping about random stuff for 10 minutes, because nothing else has happened, Chronicler. We're just...
Yeah, DK, I would really love if they just start up the objective. Oh, perfect.
Perfect's like, hey, what's going on over here? Well, I'm just going to hop away. I'm just an innocent little Yordle.
But I would love if they just start Nash, or at least threaten to start Nash. Because right now you have a substantial lead, but the longer the game goes on, the less the lead is going to mean. That's Tank Azir, as they also are like, you know what, no.
Yeah.
Wave clear ult from Pioshik. There you go. Heading towards the top side of the map. Take away the vision control.
Yeah, now that the Nature's Grasp is down, Aiming can just run at them, I guess.
Could have done that before with Lucid.
Now you can do it even more safely.
Very true. Is looking to be Nashers here from Deft, which I am happy about. Pioshik is using Juon's skin. Yeah,
We doing the Baron or what?
we doing this or what?
Yeah.
I think the answer is what.
Oh. Yeah, everybody's just backing. I mean, still good vision around the pit for the side of KT.
Out of the 3 flavors of League of Legends, so silly game, stomp, or nothing happening at all, what's your favorite?
Silly game for sure. 100%.
It has to be.
It's always silly game.
It's always silly game.
Because, you know, sometimes when games are not clean, it's better. Because you get more comebacks, you get crazy plays, very close fights. Yeah, you get a lot of really cool interactions as well, where players like clutch it out in dire situations, under a lot of pressure. It's back and forth. You know. Stomps are, well, you know, quick and easy done. You know, they're clean, I guess, most of the time, unless it's KT. But it's pretty one-sided. And then this one is kind of just, there's no action, so. But they are going to start the Baron now.
That's 1 TP. I think they're looking for 2, and they will get it. So you can just peel off now if you're DK. Don't think they have to go for this.
No action. And Showmaker is doing quite a lot with the picks as well. A little bit of help from the Lulu, which by the way helps Azir now. And his soldiers, as the ult comes in, Lucid is very low, and down he goes. Meganar is coming in. Beryl is going to find this engage onto Showmaker, who is quite tanky, but he's alone. Going to sweep away 4 people and dash, but it's Kai'Sa. You're not getting away from her and from Tristana. As KT Rolster, they find the angle. DK drop the ball, and KT are going to run at this Baron.
Lucid, mega overextension there. You're so reliant as Rel to actually hit enough people so that you are as tanky as you can be.
Oh boy. Well, they should get this Baron. Absolutely. Does look like King wants to do something, but no World Ender, and he's got a Zeri in his back pocket, but 3v5, that's too big of an ask, and now that's teleport down as well.
Oh,
KT are right back in the game.
Already felt a little questionable too. When did you get the double TP? That alone should have been enough. You got what you wanted. You can peel back off, set up exactly the same play. But they get so overconfident, or rather Lucid does, ends up going in here, and Deft, he's so ready. If he gets engaged on as well, this play might work, but instead, Lucid, also because he flashes in, doesn't actually have anyone to follow up, and he's the main front line. We talk a lot about, yes, the fact that Showmaker is a tank. He's tanky, but he can't stand there and take the beating.
The comps don't matter if the fight looks like that. You know, like you could be playing with anything.
Oh man.
The jungler just disappears, and then one guy gets engaged upon with nobody else able to help him. Comps won't matter. It's now it's anybody's game. Because KT Rolster, they have evened up the gold. And it looks like this one's going to go very late. So the Kai'Sa is going to matter. The Tristana's going to matter. The Zeri should as well, but...
Yeah, we might be veering into silly territory.
Oh, yeah.
That engage definitely was a little silly. Aiming
it was a lot silly.
For shield bow. You know me, Feldes. I'm not one to go in, but it was very silly. Yeah. And unnecessary. Could have just disengaged there. Lucid letting his inexperience get the better of him, as we do now have KT continuously pushing forward, as they should.
Face check here, but Celestial on position. And yeah, Eclipse is going to just keep it very alive. Leona does not have a care in the world at the moment in terms of tankiness.
Gold. Not a lot of turrets have been taken yet, so this Red Bull Baron power play really only the base gold from the kills that they got is going to get them a Drake. So it is actually just game 1. It's 28 minutes in, and it's exactly even. And both teams are going to get 2 Drakes. The Soul is Chemtech, and we have traveled back in time. Comps are a little different, but that's okay.
Game number 1 was fun. We liked the silly games. That's what we preferred out of the 3 options.
We asked.
Nice dash aiming.
And they gave it to us, Feldes.
Yeah. So, we have it. It's only like 300 gold diff, 30 minutes into the game.
I get the thought process behind going for shield bow into a lot of enemy backline dive, but at the same time, there's going to be a point where you do need enough damage. Obviously, the thought of the Aatrox is a lot, but you have tank Azir, and aiming going for a tankier build as well. You're going to run into some damage issues if you're not careful here as DK. We'll see how the fights play out. Right now, though, KT does feel like they have truly retaken control of the game, even though it's even. I don't think either team has a really big scaling advantage as well. Funnily enough, even if Deft ends up going for more AP, I don't feel like with Showmaker being the tank as well, and Lulu being there, they're going to get that much value out of the Kai'Sa poke, meaning that it'll just be an Elder flip. Again, I feel like we're just on the same track.
We are. It's the same destination, same train tracks, just chugging along. A little bit slower this one. I think there was a bit more action in game 1, but now game 3 you mentioned is very close series, a very important one. So both teams not willing to make too big of a mistake. And so they're really crossing their T's, dotting their I's, and their lowercase J's. And just waiting for the right moment to engage. KT found it in the last fight. They got the Baron.
Oh, wow. Okay. Def just finishing a Void Stuff outright. I didn't see him on any components. That is actually going to help out a lot. Cutting through some of these very big health bars and the high amount of MR that's available for mostly Showmaker. Lucid hasn't actually been building a lot, and this is the one thing where Def does have a lot of carry potential, because on the enemy team, everyone is itemizing into the multiple 80 carries. And not, which I guess in that scenario, Perfect is the 80 carry, because Deft is playing a hybrid build.
Yeah. I guess so. It's kind of what it's going to end up being for a lot of the fights, depending on how Perfect times his Mega Gnar in these ones. Perfect certainly has a decent amount of damage himself.
Oh,
Trinity Force, Black Cleaver.
Probably going to finish Randuin's here, so doubling up on a passive, which we never love to see. Well, my kid, he doesn't have gold. Doesn't get to finish his second item.
They just don't give him any gold, man. The whole team takes the entire map.
In this case, though, I do agree with it. Aining did finish his LDR. That's definitely a much more high-impact buy. I just hope that because we're going to, obviously, when everyone has reached 6 items, maybe they can give him so he can tank. No? Okay. Well,
he is the tank jungler. He gets only 2 items whole game.
He doesn't even have that yet.
Excuses. Oh, he knocks him out of the air, BDD! He is not able to buffer that one, and that is a big deal, as now we do not have a Tristana, and the Baron just spawned.
Oh god. So much of the damage now gone. BDD thought he could buffer it. That's why you picked Tristana into Azir.
Didn't buffer, had flash. Showmaker went for it in kind of like, oh, he's probably just going to flash this or buffer this, so I'll just throw it out, nothing else is happening. But he gets the pick. He has flash. Is what he's saying.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I can force his flash. And Showmaker also, I'm pretty sure, wins the 1v1 just by the virtue of his items and the base damage of Azir. But he didn't have to. He just died, and now they're just marching up the front. What is happening to my silly game, Feldes?
I guess the game just ends now.
Okay, they won't be able to push further than the turret, but that's going to be soul point as well.
Yep. Aiming level 17. We got a lot of people reaching 18 now. King and BDD, Perfect. But yeah, just the one ward, and BDD not expecting it, and just kind of desperately trying to hop away, does not get the timing down. That leads to a massive swing in gold in control of this game. And BD is definitely going to be kicking himself. We know he is quite the player that would buffer that correctly 9 out of 10 times, but this time it was the one.
Yeah, quite costly. Also a little sad that no one on DK went Koenig Rooker, and feel like particularly into the Kai'Sa, you can get a lot of value out of that. And DK is like, yeah, it's soul point, who cares?
It's a Chemtech Drake. Who cares about that thing? Just get the mid inhibitor. And it's only the mid inhibitor.
Probably rotate towards top as well.
Yeah. Well, let's see if they even get this in the first place.
Guys?
Aiming. Uh-oh. Perfect. Kind of alone. Lucid gonna move forward. Tank that one up. Dissuade them from actually engaging. And BDD wasn't there either. So now just gonna move to the top lane.
Yeah. Shoved in by Kingen, who again, his level 18s have been very early, pretty consistently. Big fan of the old PvE. Now going to make their presence known here towards the top side of the map is DK. They are ludicrously short range though. Outside of a little bit of poke from Showmaker, there really isn't a whole lot that they can do to try and push down this turret unless they want to commit to a dive, which they definitely do not. But they do have Kingen inside, so what you do is you just set up shop here, keep on pushing, and then Kingen probably gets an inner, because no one can really step up to this lethality Aatrox. Perfect is going to match him.
Yeah.
Vision as well towards the bottom half of the map, and that's going to be the end of the Rebel Power Power Play. So just a mid-inhib. I think KT gonna be as happy as you can be with that one, given that if you make a mistake, could have been game-ending.
Yeah. They also got a cheeky little Chemtech Drake it's not all that much, but especially as we talked about in Game 1, if you guys were watching that, it's like, okay, everybody's level 18. We're going to have a bunch of health, a bunch of resistances just naturally. So Chemtech Soul does kind of help out quite a bit as the game comes along in terms of just surviving for longer, below 50%. And it's no Poppy Karma comp this time to benefit, and Nami, by the way, to benefit from the healing and shielding power, but you're still getting some stuff out of it. The tenacity that you mentioned in the draft, gonna be nice, gonna be decent. It's not the best. I'm trying to make a little case for it.
It's all right. Healing power is nice for Aatrox. You have Lulu. It's
okay.
It's okay.
Got redemption.
Yeah, look at that. That's what I mean. Deft doesn't have Def Cap yet, which I assume will be his final item. Still doing an incredible amount of damage here because Lucid has effectively no MR. Anyone getting a Koenig Rookern would be quite nice here to ensure that Deft doesn't just get to chunk through.
Yeah, the only issue is that Lucid's not allowed to purchase any more items in this game because he's hit his cap of 3.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So even if we do go 55 minutes, aiming needs 9 items before Lucid gets us there.
I think he was on track for maybe getting an item, but then he made that really big mistake that cost him the Baron.
Yeah, and they were like, no.
No. No more gold for you.
Okay, there's the death cap.
Yep.
Deft is going to start booming. Let's see it.
Does need to hit.
Okay, next time.
Next time. Soon. We're still pushing, even without the Baron buff. Trying, I think, to set up towards, in about a minute 50, the Drake that DK really wants to take to deny defense. Or do you just let it go and just go for Elder? You won the first Elder flip. Surely that sets you up for a good second one.
I mean, they have Rel, right?
They do. Yeah, that's actually really big.
Not a bad call, honestly. Although I think giving up free souls is it's not in the DNA of any of our LCK teams generally. I don't think it's much of a consideration. So we're 37 minutes into the game. Top damage dealt is below 10k.
And that includes a Leandris Azir. And a Lafella, and a Poke Kai'Sa.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't gotten to poke much, and we haven't had too many team fights, so the Zeri, who was on top of damage dealt to champions, hasn't had too many opportunities. But soon. Soon enough.
So I imagine, Aiming's going to get out of the farm, right? And then he's going to sell his shield bow for a GA. I imagine. We'll see what Showmaker ends up going. Does have a cookie in his inventory already. Right now, Prio being taken by DK. Both these teams very short range outside of the poke. I don't know what barrel was there, but he didn't enjoy it.
And they get kind of run at pretty quickly. You know, the Lulu speeds you up. You've got a Rel who's pretty fast. He's got a horse, right? Trotting along.
She is on a horse.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Oh, that poke from the Deathcap Void Staff Kai'Sa did not break the shield of Aiming. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, Lulu does get a lot of value into poke Kai'Sa, huh?
Well, let's see. It might have an effect later on in the fights. You see that DK, broke through the shield there. As Meganar is popped. Oh, broke through into the shields. What are they going to do about that?
League of Shielding, Valdez. Yeah, they start this up. Love this. Just force a response.
It's a nice call, but they got to be careful not to get caught in this pit as the damage is insane, and Lucid's in the pit, but he can't get in. He gets rooted, and look at the damage now onto the front line as Kingen is just 100-0. He is in the World Ender. They're trying to chase here. As Perfect isn't able to do much on the Mininar. They do want to chase, but now the poke is coming out from the Kai'Sa as well. Pyosik just going to give himself up for the team, it looks like. Will he even go down in the last case as Kingen is going to help pick him up? But that's Baron for KT on 4 members.
Oh, TP's!
Here we go. Okay. TP's coming in. The sweep. It only gets 1 in Showmaker. He dies immediately. We officially have our silly game. As now KT are going to flash forward. Here comes BDD looking for the kill on the King, and that'll
reverse
be free.
TP!
And now, we do have the Gnar, as you mentioned, perfect.
Wait, he's mini.
Oh, he's mini. Oh, that's a Zeri, but they might have the damage. Lucid with a big engage, but he's so low, they take out the one guy as aiming is gonna blow up to the Tristana. As Solar Flare coming down, BDD, he wants more. One jump should do it. As, yeah, the E comes down and Kellen is just dead. The range of the level 18 Tristana, insane. And KT take that massive play.
At the same time, though, they don't have a wave in mid. They do have waves in bot and towards the top half of the map, so they should be able to get some gold. As we take another look here, Lucid not able to make it. Maybe should have flashed forward to try and go for the steal. Didn't want to do that. As okay, I complain about Lafella the Agent being tanky, but you're not that tanky, King, and goes in by himself. And this is where, as we joked a lot, the damage from Deft actually is absolutely incredible. As we do have Deft also getting the Chemtech Soul here, which is a big win. Because, like, look at how many of these Ws he hits and how much it actually boom. And then this
is just, oh god.
I don't know about that one. I do know it was not. It was the, you could have just let them leave and you can get your objective. You have double TP. You can trade and at least get a dragon out of it and then hold off. Don't do that, Lucid. At this point, obviously, have to go in. Don't have another option. Aiming. Don't know if they needed to go for the Wild Growth on him that early, because he did have a decent amount of health still left. Maybe if they save that, I don't think it's going to be a big difference maker. And now KT, Chemtech Soul, still 30 seconds left on the Red Bull Baron power play. That might have been what ends up deciding this game, Veldes.
The game feels very handily in their favor now. BDD is very large. And as we mentioned, if the game goes this long, then yeah, sure, your double 80 carry, it's going to feel pretty nice. Especially if they get those items, and we have the hyper build from Deft, and they are really beginning to chunk it out, especially in some of those crazy scenarios where we have double TP into them that only hits the Leona,
but
with the Emperor's Divide.
As long as the inhibits stand,
game ain't over.
Game ain't over, and you know what's spawning in 4.5 minutes? It's the Elder. It's happening again, Veldes.
It's happening again. Because as you are kind of alluding to, you know, Baron buff, it dissipates. KT Rolster, they have decent siege, you know, with the Tristana, you've got boomerangs, you've got a lot of peel with the Maokai Leona, but they're not going to overstay their welcome, so we will back off, and most likely, knowing our teams in this match, we will just wait for the objectives to spawn and fight for them. So maybe the game ends on the Baron in 2 minutes, or maybe we just Elder flip it again.
They are pretty disjointed, so the team that picks up Baron probably should be able to get Elder as well, but I feel very hesitant to make any decisive calls in this series. Outside of game 2, that one was that one was easy.
Yeah,
and even that had a little bit of a moment, of which we will not speak further. You see as well the itemization coming through. Jack shows actually for King, and Lucid looking to build into MR pretty heavily as well. Showmaker wants to finish his stopwatch, or his Zhonya's rather, as soon as possible. Aiming hasn't hit the gold threshold yet.
Yeah, when is his,
selling one? I imagine he does want to go for GA. Alternatively, like, I don't think any of the spell shield items you really want to go on Zeri. I imagine just trying to dive bomb into the enemy territory the way that Deft hasn't really been doing this game, which is good because he's...
Let's see.
He is, you know, AP Kaisa as opposed to... Oh! Okay.
All right. So he sold his Shiv and purchased an Infinity.
I do like that. I do think that if they have a little bit more damage and a little bit more blow you up in seconds threat on the enemy backline, could be the difference maker in this one.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if D+ get one normal engage in this game, maybe that's asking for a bit too much based on what I've seen. But if they get one normal engage and aiming is given 4 to 5 seconds, he will kill them. It will happen. And then he can, you know, he can dash in, he can dash out, depending on the situation. But, yeah, we haven't seen him go ahead and sell his boots yet. I don't think he's quite at the gold to do that either. And jokes aside, Lucid should eventually pick up a third item as well.
Oh, they are heading towards it. He does have the Spectre Scout already. Not sitting on a whole lot of gold. As we both know, teams that until the Baron spawned, we're just going to sit here mid and poke.
Yep. It's all about the mid pressure. And aiming very confidently, going to move forward. If there's one thing this guy's got, for good or for worse, it is confidence. He will go in. It looked like that W hit someone.
Callum got chunked pretty substantially.
Here we go.
Redemption used.
The Baron damage is bonkers. I mean, this is going to go down immediately. They have to get in, but the slow is on Lucid. He can't quite.
The poke!
Okay, the poke is coming down, and the other's going to give it away. Lucid not going to get into the pit. And now Kingen in an awkward spot here. The team kind of wants to help him, but I think he's just going to have to flash the wall. Very unfortunate for him in that position. They're not able to find the angle on the engage, so he just has to flash.
They can't even try and like go for a desperate bid and hold on because the spawn is so far away and the health bars are so low.
Yeah. And KT have done an excellent job of just saying, okay, we're just never going to fight you head on. We're just going to let the poke happen, and you know what? Seems like a pretty good decision in this game because the Kai'Sa Ws are just insane right now. He has Zhonya's as well and has transitioned into basically full AP. As now, charging down the mid lane, gonna take out this inhibitor, no doubt.
Well, there are flank wards. Yeah, you gotta find a flank somehow, but it's so hard because we talked about how hard it is to engage on DK. Same for KT, so much mobility for this backline of them. Both BDD and Deft having the opportunity to both self-peel and reposition.
Chronicler, the Elder Drake is spawning in 15 seconds.
What I would love to see is KT to not flip and use their Baron buff to just shove.
On a ward.
But I don't know if that's going to happen. I think they might just instead rely on Maokai, rely on the poke, try to win the game here right now.
Yep. Poke is certainly doing an insane amount of damage right now. You see even Showmaker getting chunked out. He only has the Abyssal Mask in terms of MR. And the Merc Treads, I guess.
They just need to go in. Like, I know it's scary for Lucid, but he's the only one that can do it, and if they don't, they're going to lose the fight by default.
Yeah. After a series of lackluster engages, can he find the one that wins the game? That's really the question. It's going to be up to him, as you mentioned, and Kingen has got this juicy flank, and they don't know he's there. They have no idea.
Well,
Maokai ultimate comes out, though. The poke is hitting just a bit. And Kingen is still behind enemy lines, but BDD, he still
doesn't spot him. But they have an inkling.
Oh, look at that poke. Did you see that? A massive engage comes in. They combo them. They get the job done. But BDD is alive. He is shelling. He jumps into the back line, and he cannot be touched. Although aiming as well, he's just going to blow up to BDD. But it does not matter as BDD could not quite 1v5 in this game. As he will be chipped away at. It's a triple kill for Showmaker, and the game will just end.
Biding their time. DK just waiting. And as Lucid goes in, Showmaker sees his angle. Kingen not spotted on the flank. If he was spotted at any point, they could have turned. They could have killed this Aatrox. There is still... Wait,
they're not going to end. They're not going to end.
They can't.
The game is not over.
Do they get... Okay, sure, they should get Elder.
They should get Elder. But somebody's got to go back and clear. There's no TP, and BDD is the only one that does have TP in 30 seconds.
They're going to lose. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Wait, no one is backing.
Nobody's backing. Guys.
No one is backing.
Guys, no way. Somebody's got to back.
BDD can TP. In 15 seconds, Perfect can stop them from backing.
Perfect
the next
can stop the backs.
Okay, aiming is up in 5.
Okay, they're going to get the Elder. And now they just got to go back. Because they just lost double Nexus turn. It's an open Nexus. Oh, no way. Oh, look at this giant wave.
The Winions.
He's going to ult it and probably save that inhibitor barely.
The Baron buff actually the difference maker in this one. As we take another look, this time Lucid, Flash Q, sets up, and they really knock it down. BDD is almost able to salvage it, just autoing freely over the wall, but doesn't have enough damage.
As well, which was a bit questionable.
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, I think the fight's already lost, right? Like,
yeah.
They try and go big for the resets. I don't fault them for that. Really started with the engagement moves. Follow-up from Showmaker.
Well, there you have it.
And we haven't talked about this yet, but the kind of the cool thing is also Song playing against 3 of his former players that he won Worlds with, while also having Kingen on his side.
Yeah.
Kind of cool there. But it didn't, like, did it matter? Because
well, they got the Elder,
so
and now
they should be able. So this is the problem. So they should be able to chain
Chronicler,
that.
no!
Hear me out. They should be able to chain that into getting Baron, because KT can't walk up at any point
They
because
won't
if
have it at the same time.
No, but it doesn't matter because they can take it down immediately, right? And so DK have the threat of Elder. So they shove in the waves, then they set up full vision control because at no point can KT... They only have a minute though, so they need to hurry up. They're meandering. They're taking their sweet time. Like, yes, you have a shoving weight and bob, but that isn't going to matter. The wave clear is way too good. They really want this inhib.
Lucid,
We'll get it.
always threatening. But yeah, he's going to get the mid-inhib. And again, mid-inhib is not the end of the world. They want to try to end the game with this Elder. They have 34 seconds. 34.
Yeah, they're not going to give you the fight.
There's no way.
If they can get a second inhib, though, that would be absolutely huge.
Especially bot inhib.
Yeah, and with Baron coming up in about 25 seconds, they're going to try.
They're going to try to push them off of this one. They should be able to get the inhibitor. And like you mentioned, KT's just not going to give them the fight.
They can't. 10 seconds.
They have to let it go.
And DK,
Inhibitor's down.
10.
They're going to try to push for a bit more. Nexus comes in. The engage is denied, but the damage on a BDD already is huge as Kingen is in there, and he is very deep as a Divide comes in, but the 280 carries are shelling, but it just doesn't matter as Kingen is unkillable, and the Elder Drake helps out so much as finally Aiming gets to move forward and shoot some enemies down. D plus Kia will take the 2-1 in a crazy 3-game series.
And in the end, on the tail end of that Elder buff, DK win an absolutely bonkers series. A back and forth. Yeah, Lucid, that's about right. I need to vote for a POG.
Oh boy. And the coaches are very happy. They're going to come out and hug me.
I actually don't even know. I feel like the fight was won, but Lucid, the rest of his game was so bad that I can't vote for him.
It can't be him. It can't be Showmake for TP in the 4P.
Is it Kellen? Is it Kingen? I don't even... You know what?
Be Aiming.
I gotta. He won the one fight that won the game. I know that he was playing so poorly up until that point. Like, Lucid did not have a good game. But that engage, that was what...
Look at his face. He's like, oh, God.
That's what won him the game.
Yeah.
It was that one flash Q. Especially after how much he'd been kind of running it on the rail. That's not easy. Maybe it is Showmake. I don't even know, man, fellas. I need to. This series took a lot.
D plus Kia.
They got the win. This is big. This means that they are now in sole control of that 4th spot.
Yeah. I think they're at 7-5 now after that victory. And that means that KT go down to 6-6,
Atlas
tied with
View,
Guangdong Freaks.
The perfect 50-50.
Yeah. No, I mean, the prophecy is coming true for KT Rolster. Unfortunately, they could not get off their own wild ride.
Oh, so they are, because it's a 2-1, they are 1 game score away from a 0 game score as well.
Perfectly balanced.
I do want to reiterate, I am fairly certain that KT is still going to contest DK for a 4th spot because of the strength of schedule. And I think it is important to note the opponents that KT has faced up until this point in round 2 and the tail end of round 1, way higher than what DK had to deal with. But at the same time, you also see the power of momentum. Yeah. DK was able to pull through in all the twists and turns that this series had.
In this game alone, we talked about the drafts. I think they didn't matter at the end of the day, actually.
No, not at all.
I don't think the drafts mattered at all. By the end of this game, it was like, okay, even the double 80 carry 50 minutes in couldn't do enough. And yes, Deft was kind of like a bit of a W nuke bot / on hit something. But even the level 18 Tristana that was immensely fed.
Again?
Yeah.
Again?
No, just for good measure, let's play that one again. Can we see it again? Like, I don't know, man. That was questionable.
Oh.
But
there's also so many like players making absolutely questionable decisions or mistakes, like BDD failing his jump or his buffer and then carrying this fight, and Lucid. I said it right before the fight. I'm like, after a series of lackluster engages, can he hit the one that matters? And yeah, he did. And Showmaker was right there behind him, trusted in his little rookie, said, I trust you. You're going to get it. I'm going to follow up. We're going to win this fight. And it was glorious. Like, finally. Like I said as well, I'm like, if DK could just get one normal engage where they use their hard engage with the Rel, it's going to look good. And obviously, if you blow up Deft 100-0, it's always going to work out. Here looked a little bit scary initially, but Showmaker so tanky. Aiming, not threatened in the backline at all, and King, and obviously complete raid boss on the max level Aatrox. Look at that Goldcraft. Look at that.
That's the roller coaster we love. 38K from aiming. It's not even all that high, to be honest, in a 51-minute game in terms of DPM. We had a 51-minute game that was almost 52, 54.